That's okay.
Okay.
Some more time.
Amrita and Kali Dasi.
There she is. There's Devi Prana.
Devi Prana here now.
She's joining.
There's Devi Prana. Okay. Up here in Santa Barbara, we got what our first 15 drops of rain this morning. And they're predicting some more for Saturday and next week. So we're really glad about that. We're on the very last chapter, I believe, of the Holy Mother book, the last reminiscence. Oh, yeah. And it's recorded by Swami Ishananda. Too many N's for me. It's on page 374. It was the month of Jeshta in 1316 BE. That's 1909. One morning I heard that on her way to Calcutta, the Holy Mother and her party would be reaching Kolpara that very evening at about 4. Arrangements were already made for their reception. The Holy Mother was to be received in the shrine room of our teacher, Sri Kedarnath Datta, who later became Swami Keshavananda, and the others, namely revered Sharat Maharaj, Yogan Ma, Golap Ma, and the rest, were to stay at our school. But even after dusk, there was no trace of them. Later, we got news that their cart got stuck up near the riverside. Immediately, a few of the devotees set off in that direction, and by all of them arrived at about 10 p.m. Now, this is not unusual in India. The Holy Mother, properly veiled, got down from the cart and went with Kedar Babu's mother to their shrine room, slightly dragging her feet. After she made pranams to the master and seated herself, all the assembled men and women bowed down to her. I also followed suit. Kedar Babu's mother was slightly deaf, and so the Holy Mother was talking to the men devotees through me. In the meantime, revered Sharat Maharaj sent word that it was getting late, and so the Holy Mother hurriedly finished her refreshment, consisting of a piece of sundash and some water, and got up, ready for the journey. Along with the others in the crowd, I also hastily made pranam to the Holy Mother and put my offering, which my father had given me for her, in her hand. The mother affectionately fondled my chin and said, "My child, whatever is offered must be placed at the feet." She finally got into the cart. Compared with the taste of her affection expressed through those few simple words, the love of my mother and my father and my mother even seemed too paltry. I could feel it even at that age. Once, at the time of Jagadatri Puja, on her way to Jairambati from Calcutta, the Holy Mother reached Kolpara ashram in the morning, resuming her journey at noon. She said to the enthusiastic workers of the ashram, "Here, you alone are my relatives now. While I am in the village, I depend only on you. I see, therefore, that the Master is residing here." One by one, she blessed us all and said, "Come to Jairambati now and then, especially at the time of Jagadatri Puja. All of you must come." And so on the Jagadatri Puja day, the three of us went to Jairambati, taking a load of vegetables and greens from our farm. The Holy Mother was much pleased to see us all and said, "Here, vegetables are not always available. Now and then we are put to much difficulty. I see the Master himself is arranging everything through you." From that time onwards, whenever she stayed at the village, we used to finish our daily tasks at the ashram and go to her with vegetables twice or thrice a week, either from our garden or purchased from the fair. On Sundays, we reached the Holy Mother's place when she would be lying down and resting. On our making pranam to her, after disposing of our offerings, according to her directions, she would raise her head a little and bless us, saying, "May your spiritual consciousness awaken. May you have faith and devotion." And then ask us to take some puffed rice. We would take that and, munching it on the way, return to the ashram, sometimes at midnight. One winter day, we took loads of vegetables and cow's ghee on our heads and reached Jairambati by dusk, streaming with sweat. Now, they make the distinction here of cow's ghee because often in India they didn't have cow's milk, they had buffalo milk, which is much, much stronger in flavor. So cow's ghee is much finer, a finer offering. One of the ladies there who saw our state commented, "How much toil you are in for as soon as you become a devotee. The poor boys' heads are worn off carrying loads." The Holy Mother heard this remark and said, "Do they still have their heads? They have given them away to him, the Master, to whom they belong." After that, she placed her hand on our heads most affectionately and blessed us. Later, she sent word to the ashram that instead of sending such large quantities at a time, we should send them little by little. Otherwise, the vegetables would dry up and get wasted. Thereafter, we would take small loads and go to her presence much more frequently. I'm sure they weren't upset by that. After the Jagadatri Puja, the Holy Mother was to go to Calcutta. At that time, the Kolpara ashram was being stirred by a great wave of the Swadeshi movement. That's India Freedom Movement. And everyone's inclination was more towards handloom, spinning wheel, etc., rather than towards worship and meditation, japa and spiritual study. Hearing that the Holy Mother would be leaving, Kedar Babu went to Jairambati for her darshan. The mother said to him, "Look, my dear, you have built a room for the Master and provided a resting place for me on my way. Therefore, on my way, I shall install the Master there. You make all the arrangements. Worship, food, offering, arati, etc. must be done regularly. What will you gain by merely making so much of Swadeshi? Whatever we may be, we are rooted in the Master. He is our ideal. Whatever you do, if you keep a firm hold on the Master, nothing will go wrong." Kedar Babu replied saying, "But Swamiji exhorted us so much to work for the nation. If he were alive today, how much would he have not done for the country?" Hearing this, the mother said quickly, "Oh dear, if my Naren were here today, could the company, meaning the British government, leave him in peace? They would have locked him up in jail. I could not see it and live. Naren was an unsheathed sword." Returning from abroad, he said, "Mother, by your grace this time, instead of leaping across, I went to their country in their own ship. But even there, the glory of the Master is evident in abundance. How many virtuous people came to me and listened, enchanted to his teachings, and accepted his ideas." Continuing, she said, "They also are my children. What do you say?" One or two incidents closely related to this come to my mind. Once at the time of Durga Puja, the Holy Mother gave me the responsibility of buying garments for her nephews and nieces. I bought for them all only Swadeshi, Indian-made clothes. The girls did not like this at all and began to order as they pleased. I got irritated and said, "All that is foreign stuff. Do you think I will buy foreign goods?" The Holy Mother was sitting on one side. She said, smiling, "My dear, they too, foreigners, are my children. I have to run the house, including everybody. Could I be one-sided? Please bring the things to suit their taste." Subsequently, I observed that whenever any foreign articles had to be bought, the Holy Mother would get them through others rather than tell me. It was not in her nature to hurt anyone's feelings. But soon came news of police high-handedness. Two pregnant ladies, wife and sister of Devan Babu of Uttar Vihar village, were arrested in connection with the Swadeshi movement and were made to walk miles to Bankura police station. On hearing this, the Holy Mother's anger burst forth in blazing fury. At first she shuddered, saying, "What do you say?" Recovering from the shock, she continued, "Is this the company's order, or is it the heroics of the police? We never heard of such atrocities on innocent women under the rule of Queen Victoria. If this act is indeed the order of the company, their days are numbered." Were there no men there to slap those fellows and release the girls? She was much pacified a little later by the news that the ladies were released, and said, "If I did not hear this further news, I could not have slept at all tonight." Another day when Holy Mother was at Kolpara, Ras Bihari Maharaj arrived there with some mangoes sent by revered Sharat Maharaj. Just after his arrival, Prabodh Babu also came to make pranam to the mother. After inquiries about their welfare, the Holy Mother asked, "What is the war news? What a destruction of humanity has taken place. What all arts of killing men have been invented. Nowadays there are so many kinds of machines, telegraph, etc. Just see, Raj Bihari started from Calcutta yesterday and reached here today. In those days, with how much difficulty and after how much walking did we reach Dakshineshwar?" Prabodh Babu was a little enthused by this. Praising the Western science and education, he said, "Under British government, the country has advanced very much in many fields." The Holy Mother agreed with him, but added, "But my dear, with all those comforts, the scarcity of food and clothing too has increased enormously in our country. Earlier, such scarcity of food was not felt." On her way to Calcutta, the Holy Mother enshrined the Master's picture at Kolpara. She herself placed the Masters in her own photos and performed special worship. The Homa was performed by Kishore Dada. At noon, the Holy Mother went walking to Kedar Babu's house with his mother. While she was returning there, P. Maharaj requested her to enter the palanquin. A little displeased, she got in. Reaching the ashram, she spoke to him, expressing the cause of her displeasure. "This is my own village, and Kolpara is my drawing room. These children are my near and dear ones. I come here and move about freely. Returning from Calcutta, I heave a sigh of relief. There you keep me fenced in. All the time I have to stay there quite cramped. Here too am I to come and go at your beck and call? That cannot be. You write that to Sarat." Then in great humility, P. Maharaj began to entreat her pardon and said, Sharat Maharaj particularly enjoined us all to take all care of you. I felt that perhaps it is due to our lapse that you had to walk. But then, Mother, you are free to do as you like. According to P. Maharaj's instruction, we were to make ready their food packets before 6 in the evening. But however much we tried, we could not finish it in time. Seeing that, P. Maharaj began to get angry. Brother Rajan said, all right, you start off with these people according to your schedule. We shall get the food ready and bring it to you on our heads, however far you may have gone. The Holy Mother heard everything and said to P. Maharaj, why do you lose your head and show so much temper? This is my village. Do you think everything will click with the needle of the clock here, as in Calcutta? You see, the boys are breaking their bones since morning. Whatever you say, I will not move from here without taking food. Finally, at about 8 at night, finishing their meal, they started towards Vishnupur in 8 bullock carts. The Holy Mother had just returned to Calcutta from Rameshwaram, 1911, from her pilgrimage. We 3 went to meet her at the Udbodhan house and went upstairs to have her darshan. We sat down after bowing down to her. She inquired after everybody at Kopara and Jairambati and said to Kedar Babu, hearing that you are coming, I have kept 2 photos of Rameshwaram for your ashram. Take them with you when you go. You may worship them there. Kedar Babu replied, but there you have yourself established the Master and asked us to worship him as the embodiment of all the deities. Now you are giving all these deities? How many gods shall we worship? We shall not be able to worship other gods. The Holy Mother did not press the matter. All right, she said. Have these pictures properly framed and keep them in the shrine room. Kedar Babu inquired about her impression of Rameshwaram. My dear, Rameshwaram is the same as when I kept him, said the Holy Mother. Golatma was passing that way just then. Hearing these words, she said innocently, what did you say, Mother? The Holy Mother looked startled and said, when? What did I say? I'm saying that I was very happy to see just the same as I have heard from you all. No, Mother, Golatma continued. I heard everything, and it won't do to try to give the slip now. What do you say, Kedar? Saying this, she went off from there and started telling Yoganma and the others about it. The Holy Mother continued, Shashi has performed the puja of Rameshwaram with 108 golden bell leaves. The Raja of Ramnad, hearing that I was there, sent his minister with instructions to show me the temple treasury. If I had a fancy for any article, it was to be immediately presented to me. What could I say? Unable to decide what to say, I replied, what do I need? Shashi is making for all our requirements, is arranging for all our requirements. Again, thinking that they would be hurt, I said, all right, if Radha needs anything, she may take it. I told Radha that she could take anything she liked. Then seeing all those priceless rubies and diamonds, my heart went pit-a-pat. Anxiously, I prayed to the Master, O Master, grant that no greed should arise in Radhu's mind. And so Radhu replied, what of these shall I take? I do not need them. But I lost my pencil. Buy me a pencil. Hearing these words, I heaved a sigh of relief and bought her a 2-pice pencil at the roadside shop. When they say that temple treasury, most of the huge temples in India, the traditional temples have a great store of jewelry and offerings that are kept there. Conversing, now she just bought Radhu the two-piece pencil. Conversing in this manner, she got up to make food offering to the master. We two came downstairs. 2 or 3 days before Janmashtami, Sri Krishna's birthday, I expressed to the Holy Mother my desire to be initiated by her on that day. Hearing this, Golap Ma, in her usual loud tones, such a little boy, a boy of 13, asking for initiation, he's likely to forget the mantra in 2 days. How thoughtless of Keter. The Holy Mother is from your own village. When she goes there after due deliberation, you can get initiated. Thus remarking, she went away. But the Holy Mother rejoined reassuringly, don't you take Golap's words to heart, my dear. If one of your age learns anything well, can he ever forget it? Let the boy do whatever he can from now on. As for the future, I am with you always. And so she initiated me on the day of Janmashtami after the Master's puja. Demonstrating the manner of doing japa according to her instruction, she said, can you not keep this much in mind? Certainly you can. Later, as and when necessary, I will show you everything. And then she blessed me, touching my head and chest affectionately. Getting up from her seat, she asked me to go with her. I made pranam to her and followed her into the next room. She took 2 sweets out of a vessel, bit off a small part of one, and gave me the remainder, saying, I received the sweets in my hand and out of shyness was hesitating to eat them in her presence. Noticing my hesitation, she said, don't be shy. After initiation, one must take food, and then gave me a glass of water to drink. Soon after that, we returned to Kolpara, along with Keter Babu's mother. This old lady served the Holy Mother in various ways. At 60 years of age, she felt the desire to read and write, and started with the first reader. And towards the end, she was able to read and understand Ramayana, Mahabharata, etc. Even when she accompanied the mother to Rameshwar, she went with her first reader and a slate. She passed away 6 or 7 years after the Holy Mother's demise. At the time of our departure, the Holy Mother gave some money to Keter Babu, asking him to buy some paddy and to make some rice ready. In the month of Falgun, the mother returned to her village. From Kolpara, 3 of us went far ahead early in the morning to receive her. Catching sight of her cart from a distance, the other 2 went back to inform the ashram. I remained to accompany the carts. The Holy Mother spotted me for a distance and saying, who is that? Me, is it not? As I approached her and made pranam, she inquired after everyone's welfare. The carts were rolling while I walked alongside. The Holy Mother peeped out of the cart and was asking questions like, what village is this? Whose pond is that? How far is Kolpara from here? As we left Kotulpur, the mother said, why don't you get into the cart? You have walked far enough. But Radhu was in the cart along with the Holy Mother. A little later, the cartman got down from the cart and said, you please sit in the front, I'll walk a little. Then I got in front. Seeing me handling the oxen and driving them faster, the Holy Mother burst out laughing. Ah, you are an expert cartman. It is good to know all trades. In due time, we reached the ashram. The mother's was a rather delicate constitution. As she had sat for long cross-legged in the cart, her legs became numb. Keter's mother helped her to get down from the cart and slowly led her to the shrine room veranda and seated her there. After a little rest, she bathed and said to me, "My dear, I cannot now exchange shouts with Cater's mother." She was a little deaf. "You change your dress and make arrangements for the puja." I have to tell you, a bullock cart is not the most comfortable mode of transportation. When Kalidasi and I were in, I think it was we had left Bali and we'd gone to
We were in
Cambodia, and for a treat, we were given a bullock cart ride, and they are really bumpy and awful. They are hard to sit in. You're just bouncing along, and everything is like bump. Everything jogs your spine to the core. So when you see Holy Mother didn't have to walk, she had to ride in the bullock cart, not comfortable. Maybe saved some time, but I don't know. In my ignorance, I put on one of the mother's clothes and was going to pluck flowers. Noticing this, Cater Babu's mother became quite upset and was saying, "You dunce, you are wearing the mother's cloth. Leave them immediately, leave." But the mother said, "What does it matter? He is a young boy. What harm is there if he wears my clothes? Go, bring flowers." So he was 13, 14. He's a child still. Cater Babu said in the course of conversation, "Mother, all your children are learned men. Only we few are ignoramuses." Sharat Maharaj wrote a book on the master and spread his teaching everywhere. Other children are all giving lectures and touring. How much work is going on? At this, Holy Mother said, "What do you say?" The master himself was not learned. He learned only to keep his mind on God. Through you, a great deal of work will be done in these parts. This time the master has come to liberate all, the rich, the poor, the wise, and the foolish. Now there is a splendid Malaya breeze. And the footnote is, in the tradition, Indian tradition, the mythological breeze blowing from the Malaya mountains will turn all trees and plants that have a core into sandalwood trees. Just set your sail a little, take refuge in him, and immediately you will be blessed. This time, anything other than grass and bamboo, whatever has a little core, will surely become sandalwood. What do you think? You are my own people. Do you know a learned sadhu is like an elephant with a gold-sheathed tusks? Saying this, she got up for puja. A little after dusk, the Holy Mother left for Jaimrambati in a palanquin. I'm just checking to see if we should stop there or go on for... Okay, we can go on for a little bit more. The man who was to go from Kalpura as the storekeeper for Jagadhatri Puja fell ill. And so in his stead, I went to Jairambati. The Holy Mother said, "It is very good you have come. Today you observe everything. Tomorrow, quite early in the morning, take bath and come to the store. Attend to the work there, observing all ceremonial procedures. Keep a little distance and carry on the work. Everything will be all right." She said these last words because in those regions, caste restrictions were quite strict. On the day of the puja, she came early in the morning to the store and took her seat on a sack with her feet dangling. When anyone came for anything from the store, I showed the required things to the Holy Mother and then handed it over to the person. At the end of the puja, the mother bathed and went to the mandap, taking the ants with her for the flower offering. She offered flowers thrice at the feet of the Devi, and with hands folded, and the end of her sari wound around her neck in humility, she sat silently for some time. Puja concluded without a hitch. In the noon, many men and women of the village were fed. As I had fever on the second day, for the image had to be kept for 3 days, the Holy Mother herself looked after the store. After evening arati, all the monks and devotees together started singing bhajans. Worry not to have the mother's vision. She is not mere mother of yours or mine alone. She is the mother of all, of the whole universe. Thus they sang again and again. The Holy Mother was sitting in the next room with the other women and was listening with absorption. That night she remarked to me, "Ah, the singing was enthralling. What is caste to devotees? All children are one. I feel like feeding all of them from one plate, but in this wretched region they make much of caste." However, there's a footnote there. Once when Sister Nivedita expressed her wish to go to Jairambati, the Holy Mother said, "No, dear, while I am alive, you should not go there. If you do, they will outcast me." However, there is surely no objection to puffed rice. Tomorrow, quite early in the morning, you go to Kamarpukur and bring 2 seers of the jalebis, a certain sweetmeat. Next day, I returned with the jalebi at about 9 a.m. The Holy Mother offered them to the master and arranged them on a big plate around the heap of puffed rice. This delicacy she sent to the devotees. In great joy, all of us began to partake of it, and the Holy Mother looked on us from the next room. Okay. I think we'll stop there. We're going to start with an epidemic of malaria and dysentery next week. And I don't think so. We have something to look forward to. The pandemic continues. Okay. Any questions or comments? Question about.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead. Please.
Which god is Rameshwaram?
Rameshwaram is Rama, right?
It's not the Lord of Rama, which is Shiva.
It's Shiva.
Lingam.
The Lord of Rama, Shiva.
Eh,
You know, it's one of our devotees a long time ago said, "Which one of the guys are we worshiping today?" That was a gentleman who died, though. When he passed, he sat straight up in his bed and said Om 3 times. So we do not have to know the names of every which one of them that we are worshiping. We can still realize God. Okay, any other questions? Comments? All right, we'll end with a chant. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Tat Sat Sri Ramakrishna